Welcome back to part 4, the final continuation. Luca has discovered the truth about his family, and now there's no turning back. Let's dive in. The door burst open. Luca didn't hesitate. He fired. One shot. The silencer coughed instead of roared, but the figure in the doorway dropped instantly, crashing into the metal tray stand. Elena screamed. "Stay behind me!" Luca barked. Emergency lights flickered red, painting the room like a crime scene. Not hospital staff. Black hoodie, gloves, mask. Definitely not a nurse. Definitely sent to finish the job. The man groaned on the floor, clutching his shoulder. Alive. Luca crossed the room in 2 strides, grabbed the attacker by the collar and slammed him against the wall. "Who sent you?" Silence. Luca pressed the gun under his chin. "I'm only asking once." The man spat blood, then smiled. "Boss, you're too late." Luca's heart stuttered. "Too late for what?" The man's eyes slid past him, toward Elena. Instinct. Luca turned. Another shadow moved behind the curtain. "Elena, down!" A second figure lunged forward with a syringe. Elena reacted on pure fear. She kicked the tray stand hard. Metal crashed into the attacker's legs. He stumbled. Luca shot him in the thigh. The man collapsed, screaming. The room filled with alarms, red lights, footsteps running down the hall. Chaos. But Luca wasn't listening to any of it, because the syringe had skidded across the floor and stopped near his shoe. Clear liquid inside. Another dose. Not poison this time. Something worse. He recognized the label. Sedative. Memory suppressor. Hospital grade. His blood ran cold. "They weren't here to kill her," he whispered. Elena stared at him. What?" "They were here to erase you." Security stormed in minutes later. Both attackers restrained. Masks ripped off. Not strangers. Not hired thugs. Men Luca had seen before. Moretti security. Family payroll. Trusted. Which meant only one thing. This wasn't Marco acting alone. This was sanctioned. Someone higher. Someone with authority. Someone who could command loyal staff without questions. His mind landed on one name. Viviana. His own mother. "No," he muttered. But the evidence screamed yes. Elena watched him pace the room like a caged animal. He looked terrifying. Not the cold businessman, not the distant husband. This was Luca Moretti, the warlord, the man rivals feared, the man newspapers never saw. "Luca," she said softly. He stopped instantly. "Are you hurt?" "No." He checked anyway, hands on her shoulders, her face, and her arms. Gentle. So careful it almost broke her heart. "They were trying to make me forget," she whispered. "I won't let anyone touch your mind again." But what if remembering destroys everything? He didn't even blink. "Then we destroy everything first." Her breath caught. "You'd really go against your family? For me?" His eyes darkened. "Elena, Sienna, whoever you are." He cupped her face. "You chose me when you drank that glass." His voice dropped. "So now I choose you, every time, over anyone." Her chest ached, because this was all she'd ever wanted. Not the money, not the mansion, just him, seeing her. 2 hours later, Luca drove back to the mansion alone. No convoy, no driver, just him in the silence. Tommy had begged to come. "No," Luca said. "This is family business." And family business got bloody. The mansion doors opened before he knocked. Viviana was waiting. Of course she was. Still elegant. Still composed. Like nothing ever shook her. "You look tired," she said. "Cut the act." She sighed softly. "I wondered how long it would take." "Did you send them?" She didn't answer, which was answer enough. His jaw tightened. They tried to drug her, wipe her memory. Why? Viviana finally looked at him, and for the first time in his life, he saw guilt. "Because forgetting is kinder," she whispered. "Kinder than what?" then remembering what we did. The words hit like a punch. We? He repeated. Her voice trembled. Years ago, the foundation funded cognitive experiments, trauma resilience programs for children. Donors wanted results. Your father wanted soldiers, not victims. Cold dread crept up Luca's spine. And Elena? Viviana closed her eyes. She was one of them. Silence. She survived every trial, every drug, every conditioning session, stronger than the others, smarter, unbreakable. You experimented on a child, he said flatly. We told ourselves we were saving them, she cried softly. But it became something else, something cruel. So you erased her memory? Yes. And placed her in my life? That part wasn't me. His head snapped up. What? Viviana swallowed. That was Marco. Everything clicked. The way Marco watched Elena, the way he smiled tonight, the poison, the texts. He didn't just want to kill me, Luca breathed. No. He wanted to trigger her memories. Viviana nodded slowly. She's proof. Proof of everything we buried. If she remembers, the world finds out. Luca laughed once. Dark. Empty. So your solution was to erase her again? To protect this family. He stepped closer, voice ice cold. She is my family. Viviana's eyes filled with tears. You sound just like your father. Good, he said, because tonight I'm ending what he started. Her heart dropped. What are you going to do? He turned toward the door. Burn it all down. Back at the hospital, Elena stared out the window. Rain streaked the glass. Her reflection looked unfamiliar. Sienna. Elena. Who was she really? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She shouldn't have answered, but she did. A familiar voice whispered, Did you miss me, Sienna? Her blood froze. Marco. You're not supposed to remember, he said softly. But maybe it's time you know the truth. What truth? A quiet chuckle. You weren't a victim. Her breath hitched. What do you mean? You weren't just a test subject. Silence. Then, you were the best weapon we ever created. The call disconnected. Elena stared at the dark screen, hands shaking. Weapon? Not victim? What did that mean? And why did a tiny, terrifying part of her feel like he might be right? The mansion doors exploded inward. Smoke poured into the hallway. Sprinklers hissed overhead. Somewhere upstairs, glass shattered. But Luca kept walking. Slow, calm, like a man already attending a funeral. His family's funeral. Marco! His voice thundered through the halls. Footsteps scrambled. Guards moved out of his way instead of stopping him. Because everyone knew. Tonight, you don't stand between Luca Moretti and revenge. At the top of the stairs, Marco appeared. Suit perfect. Smile lazy. Like this was still a game. All this drama, Marco sighed. For a woman? Luca raised his gun. For my wife, Marco laughed. You still don't get it. She isn't your wife. She's an experiment, a project. You fell in love with a file number. Before Luca could move, a soft voice echoed behind him. No. Both men turned. Elena stepped forward through the smoke, barefoot, hospital bracelet still on her wrist, but her eyes, steady, different. Not the quiet, invisible woman from before, something sharper. I'm not your experiment, she said calmly. Marco's smile faded. You shouldn't even remember. I remember enough. Her steps were slow, controlled. You trained me to survive pain. Another step. To read threats. Another. To react fast. Marco's breathing changed, because she wasn't guessing, she was recalling. And you made one mistake, she said softly. What mistake? He snapped. You taught me how to fight back. Marco suddenly pulled his gun. Too fast for most people, not for her. Before Luca even reacted, Elena moved. Twist, grab, disarm. The gun clattered across the marble. Marco crashed to his knees. 2 seconds, exactly like the hospital. Silence swallowed the mansion. Marco stared at her like she wasn't human. "You," he whispered. She looked down at him. No fear, no anger, just clarity. "You should have left me forgotten." Luca stepped forward and aimed his gun at his brother. Their eyes met. Years of childhood, business, blood, gone. "You poisoned my wife," Luca said quietly. "You tried to erase her." Click. "You're not family." The shot echoed through the house. Then nothing, just sprinklers, and smoke, and the end of the Moretti War. Dawn, police lights outside, and lawyers arriving, the empire already collapsing, stocks frozen, investigations opened, the Moretti name finished. But Luca didn't care. For the first time in his life, money meant nothing. He sat on the hospital balcony beside Elena, sunrise painting the sky gold, quiet, peaceful. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "Tired?" He smiled softly. "Yeah, me too." She leaned her head on his shoulder, not invisible anymore, not forgotten, just seen. "My name is still Elena," she said after a while. He looked at her. "I thought Sienna was who they made me." She intertwined her fingers with his. "Elena is who I choose to be." His chest tightened. "Then Elena," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "Let's start over. No mansion, no family, no bloodline, just them. For once, not surviving, living."